I think one of the biggest, most important features to come to Android over the last, I don't know, maybe couple of years, in particular for these larger screen devices, has got to be the taskbar that I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that we first saw this taskbar implemented by Samsung, and now something similar to it has been implemented by Google into stock Android, and then of course into their flavor of Android, the Pixel Experience version of Android on devices like the Pixel Fold or of course the Pixel tablet. Now, of course, like I said, Samsung kind of did this first, and this is one of these examples that we've had in the past where another OEM comes up with some stuff and Google says, hey, that's pretty cool. And perhaps they even work with that OEM to some degree and they sort of replicate that functionality and bring it into stock Android so that everyone can have access to something similar to that. Now, in this instance, with the taskbar, the version of it that we got directly from Google on devices, again, like the Pixel Fold, is not quite as feature complete as the version that Samsung has. In this video, though, we're going to look at a couple of changes that are reportedly coming to Google's version of the taskbar. And this information is coming via Michal Rahman, who I would recommend you go to patreon.com, and I'm going to put a link to their Patreon account in the description down below. $3 a month. Michal posts tons of really interesting stuff that you're going to see posted on Patreon and then reported on other websites as well as YouTube channels like mine. So you can just go to the Patreon account and help support them and see some of this stuff potentially first. Michelle has some really interesting stuff about this taskbar, and like I said, some changes, some features coming to Google's version of this. So right now we're looking at the Galaxy Z Fold and the Pixel Fold. I'm going to kind of use these two devices to illustrate the changes that are reportedly coming to the taskbar on the Pixel Fold as well as the Pixel tablet. And of course, these changes will be part of the stock Android experience and will therefore be able to be presented on other devices as well. So let's open up a couple of apps and we can kind of contrast here the differences between these two taskbars and talk about the changes that are coming. So the first one I'm going to talk about is something you can already see on the screen now. And this is actually one that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, but we're going to touch on it again here to kind of get the full picture. With Samsung, you can actually have your taskbar be visible all the time, and there's a setting to let you hide the taskbar. So you can go back and forth between the persistent and the hidden version. With Google, all you have is this sort of transient version. You swipe up, it pops up, you do what you need to do, and then it will go away. Michal is reporting that Google is going to be giving us an option to have a persistent taskbar if we want to go that direction. Now, you will lose a little bit of that vertical space when you do that, but it may be something that's going to make that multitasking just a little bit quicker and easier to access, and that hopefully is coming very soon. Now, another thing you can see on Samsung's taskbar is the fact that we have these two apps over there on the side, and those are recent applications. So I've recently been in the settings, and I've also recently used Relay for Reddit, and so those apps are there. With Google's version, all you have are the pinned apps or pinned folders. In my instance, you cannot have recent apps. Apparently this is also going to be coming. And the third feature, which is also quite cool, is this. Both of these have the ability to access an app drawer on the screen. As you can see here on Samsung's version, you do in that app drawer have access to a search bar. Now this search bar that Google is going to be implementing will be very, very similar to this. I accidentally activated the assistant. It will be used to search through your apps. It's not an actual Google search where you're going to be searching the internet or anything else. It's only going to search through your applications, and it should look very, very similar to what you see here with Samsung. It definitely seems like some interesting stuff is coming to Google's version of the taskbar. Now, as Michelle says in their Patreon post, since none of this has yet been made visible in the Android 14 betas, we shouldn't be expecting this stuff to launch alongside Android 14 directly. Instead, they're saying perhaps the December Pixel feature drop is when we'll see these things actually enabled, even though some of this stuff has kind of been hidden in there with some flags that you can enable to get, kind of a preview of some of this stuff already. Again, probably not with 14, probably the update after 14, the December feature drop, is when we will be seeing some of this stuff. Personally, I think that between things like this and the fact that app pairs are apparently coming with the Android 14 full release, if rumors there also are to be believed. It is quite apparent that Google is doing as much as they can to improve the multitasking productivity experience on their devices. The Pixel Fold and Pixel Tablet, of course, will be the first beneficiaries of these improvements. Guys, subscribe for more content just like this. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.